Fans are going crazy over a secret about the king of waltzes that the talented Australian singer Mirusia Louwerse shared with them. André Rieu even called her Australia's angel. Mirusia has been playing with Rieu and the Johann Strauss Orchestra for more than 10 years, in big shows and on stages around the world. Now she is speaking out about the teacher who helped her career. Why did she choose to show such a surprising side when she was once Rieu's main source of inspiration? There's a shocking statement that might shed light on something fans have been afraid to say for years. Finally, Mirusia Louwerse tells the truth about André Rieu. Mirusia Louwerse, known as the Angel of Australia, changed classical music during the 10 years she was André Rieu's main lady. People all over the world were blown away by her stunning performance of Schubert's Ave Maria. There were 3 times as many plays of the song in the Netherlands as there were in Belgium. There are 12 songs in her discography. It was #1 on the Australian Classical and Classical Cross charts in February 2024. Classic, her most recent classical masterpiece. Mirusia won the prestigious Dame Joan Sutherland Opera Award in 2006, making her the youngest person to ever win the award. Her work with André Rieu's orchestra has become what she calls a fairy tale that never ends. The amazing teamwork has led to some great performances, like the coronation concert for King Willem-Alexander of the Netherlands in 2013. The strange phone call André Rieu got that led him to Mirusia. A proud aunt sent Mirusia Louwerse an email, not a big audition or a link in the business. This was the start of an amazing journey between the two. The way their first meeting turned out shows how luck can change a musician's career. Mirusia's fame around the world comes from her Dutch roots. She was born in Australia to Dutch parents, but she has always tried to stay close to her family's home country. This link would finally change her life when her Aunt Els from the Netherlands helped her get her big break in a way she didn't expect. In early 2007, her aunt saw André Rieu on TV and told her that he needed a new soprano performer. She moved quickly and didn't tell her niece. She told the conductor about a skilled family member in Australia in an email. The note had Mirusia's website link, contact information, and a strong pitch for why the young singer would be great for his orchestra. My aunt know that André wants to hire a singer. He got an email from her telling him to check out my website. Mirusia talks about this surprising help. What happened next showed how good André Rieu was at finding talented people. There are a lot of classical music leaders who send these kinds of emails to their assistants, but Rieu read it himself. He also moved quickly. In less than an hour, he made a decision that would change both of their lives for good. It was a great time for Mirusia. It was 2006, and she had just finished from the Queensland Conservatorium of Music at Griffith University. In the same year, she won the Dame Joan Sutherland Opera Award, making her the youngest person to do so. She was in a very important part of her singing journey. The family of Louwerse got a call at their home in Brisbane, Australia. No one thought that one of the best violinists and musicians in the world would be on the other end of the line. When Mirusia's dad picked up the phone, he thought right away that someone was pulling a joke on him. He called me at home in Australia an hour after reading the letter. Mirusia said, "My dad picked up the phone and thought it was a joke." When Mirusia answered the phone, she had the same shock. She laughed and said, "When I was on the phone with him and told him I love his voice and want to tour the world with him, I thought this is a joke. Who is he?" The fact that they were both Dutch helped show that the caller was real. As they talked to each other in Dutch, the truth slowly became clear. Reports say they spoke Dutch and started a relationship that would take Mirusia all over the world for decades. Even more than the call, André's request caught her off guard. He asked her if she could come to Maastricht the next day for an interview. Australia was too far away to do that, but Mirusia said she would get there as soon as she could. "Because I lived in Brisbane, it took an extra day for me to get to Maastricht for an audition the next day," Mirusia says. She kept her word and went to the Netherlands just 2 days after getting that call that changed her life. At the time, Mirusia didn't know much about André Rieu's rising fame around the world. "I only knew him because my mom worked at a Dutch care home for seniors." She agrees that he wasn't very well known in Australia at the time, but she saw this great chance in front of her. They got along right away when they met at his office. Mirusia remembers that "We hit it off right away before I even started singing." This quick connection set the stage for a successful musical relationship that lasted 10 years. Mirusia went back to Australia not even a week after hearing his voice for the first time. She had a deal to go on tour with André Rieu and his Johann Strauss Orchestra all over the world. An amazing series of events began with a simple email from her Dutch aunt, which made the young singer into the Angel of Australia. Mirusia talks about the tough audition process that shocked her. When Mirusia said yes to André Rieu's unexpected offer, it led to an audition that was unlike any other in classical music. The things that happened after their phone call showed Rieu's unique way of finding talent and made Mirusia Louwerse famous all over the world. When Mirusia said yes to André Rieu's call, she faced a big problem. Because she was coming from Brisbane, which is 14,000 km away, she couldn't make it to Maastricht the next day as planned. She quickly got ready for her biggest test ever. Mirusia said, because I lived in Brisbane, it took an extra day for me to get to Maastricht to audition the next day after André asked me to. She only had 48 hours to book a flight across the ocean, pick out a song, and get ready for the big chance. The young opera singer had just won the Dame Joan Sutherland Opera Award, making her the youngest person to ever win the award. Having made up her mind, she packed her bags and flew across countries. I thought André was just a fake caller at first, so Mirusia hung up the phone and packed her bags. One story says she tried out for André the very next day. Mirusia, who had just graduated from the Queensland Conservatorium of Music, didn't know much about Rieu's fame before she went on this trip. I only knew him because my mom worked in a Dutch care home for seniors. She later said in interviews that he wasn't very well known in Australia at the time. The fact that she flew halfway around the world showed how brave she was. Mirusia had time to think about this amazing event during the long journey. She had been following a normal, traditional job path in Australia just a few days before. To meet the director, she had to fly. He had found her through her aunt's email and a review on a website. He knew right then that she was the one. When Mirusia got to the Netherlands, she went to Maastricht for an interview. In André Rieu's secret recording studio, she could work on her voice in a quiet space that would soon make her famous. This event became an important part of Mirusia's story. One story said that 2 days later, Mirusia performed 2 songs at her recording studio in Maastricht that made the deal official right then and there. The songs she picked are still a secret, but it was clear how they made her feel. There was an instant connection between the young Australian singer and the Dutch violinist, and it wasn't just musical. We hit it off right away, even before I sang. Mirusia talked about the first time they met. This quick link proved that musical chemistry was more than just basic skill. André chose what to do after hearing only 2 songs. He told Mirusia that her voice was one of the most beautiful he had ever heard. This nice comment from a very good performer meant a lot to me. They did much better than most classical players could have hoped for at the audition. It wasn't possible. A deal was made when I left Maastricht, says Mirusia, still shocked by how fast everything happened. Within a week of André's first call, she was back in Australia with a deal to go on tour with his orchestra around the world. This one-of-a-kind audition process led her down a different road than the usual one for a classical music career. They worked together for 10 years and took her to the biggest shows in the world. Behind the curtain. What really goes on at André Rieu's practice? The polished acts of André Rieu may look easy to the audience, but they are the result of hours and hours of hard work. His huge success comes from living in a world where perfection is the norm and orchestra members are held to very high standards. André Rieu is very relaxed and happy on stage, but not at all when he's not there. Like André, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to photography, but André is a total perfectionist in every way. It wasn't possible. A deal was made when I left Maastricht, says Mirusia, still shocked by how fast everything happened. Within a week of André's first call, she was back in Australia with a deal to go on tour with his orchestra around the world. This one-of-a-kind audition process led her down a different road than the usual one for a classical music career. They worked together for 10 years and took her to the biggest shows in the world. Behind the curtain. What really goes on at André Rieu's practice? The polished acts of André Rieu may look easy to the audience, but they are the result of hours and hours of hard work. His huge success comes from living in a world where perfection is the norm and orchestra members are held to very high standards. André Rieu is very relaxed and happy on stage, but not at all when he's not there. As a photographer, I'm a perfectionist, but André is better than me in every way, says someone who has seen André's training sessions and written about them. He is very demanding, and it shows up in strange ways. His 4 band members had been moved from Australia to the Netherlands just to make sure they practiced the way he wanted. Everything caught his eye. During rehearsals, André looked over everything, from the music arrangements to the actors' moves on stage. Not only the music, but also the entry and exit were perfectly planned. One witness said that everything had to be just right. He was in charge of all the mechanical stuff himself. He wore a special jacket during sound checks and often asked for small changes to be made to the lights. André was honest about how scared he was before the show. "I'm always scared right before the show. Every night I want to put on a great show with my orchestra," he said. This nervousness comes from his unwavering commitment to doing his best. Practice, practice, practice is his practice motto, and he doesn't waste any time. Fans can see a whole new side of him during practices. Fans are welcome to enter the square for free, and we love seeing the maestro work during these practices. One story said, "These practices show that he works non-stop, talking to directors in the recording van behind the scenes, and sometimes checking in with his boss, his wife Marjorie. Members of an orchestra have to be very dedicated to work with someone who is so focused on perfection." When André started his group, he made it clear what he expected. "They asked me to practice for a whole year. I told you I wanted to set the mood. I wished to make the sound better." He couldn't pay them at first, but he said we'd be able to by the end of the year. His group now follows certain rules to keep everything together. They're only there for me. They don't play in any other bands. He says that they don't teach music, so as not to cause problems, he won't work with union bands, because then there will be different groups. They and I don't want anyone in the group to think that we're against each other. André makes his expectations clear and gives out lots of rewards. He makes a promise that he will always pay them well. They will have everything they want when they get old because I will take care of them. This even includes sharing nice things. When I fly the Concorde, they fly the Concorde. We need to do that because we have to play on stage together. The orchestra grew from 12 musicians to 60 to 75 players on bigger stages. André put relationships ahead of technical know-how. They and I both need each other to function. We have a great time traveling together. The singers had to be fully involved in every show, which meant they had to smile, talk to the crowd, and move in a way that was planned ahead of time. This led to an amazing level of accuracy, as the music timing was almost perfect. When Mirusia Louwerse joined Rieu's orchestra, she joined a place that had both high standards and a family feel. She saw for herself how his approach to music was so unique, how strict the rules were, and how close-knit the group was. Mirusia talks about how much it really costs to tour with André Rieu. Classical crossover concerts have a glamorous side, but they also have a complicated financial system that artists rarely talk about in public. For 10 years, Mirusia Louwerse played in André Rieu's orchestra, which gave her a unique view of how jobs work in this specific area of music. Getting deals done that most artists don't talk about. The contracts between Mirusia and André Rieu are not at all like most ensemble contracts. Rieu has about 110 full-time employees and another 100 workers right now. Most classical musicians work on short-term or gig-based contracts, so this full-time job plan isn't common. Rieu has made it clear what he wants. They're only there for me. They don't play in any other bands. They don't teach music. His exclusivity made sure that everyone could focus on his works and gave him job security, which is hard to find in an industry that is always changing. When Mirusia joined the orchestra, she entered a carefully checked financial system. The deal gave her a level of stability that is uncommon in a job as a classical singer. She remembers making a quick choice after her first trout. "I couldn't believe I had a contract when I left Maastricht." Rieu's contracts are unique because they promise his players a lifetime of work. He tells it like it is. "I give them a lot of money and make a big promise. They'll have everything they want when they get old, because I'll take care of them." This approach that feels like family makes people loyal in a way that goes beyond a normal job relationship. How André Rieu advertised his voice in a smart way. Rieu showed that he was more than just a master at capturing beautiful acts. His way of promoting Mirusia shows how to get classical artists in front of a wider public. Soon after she joined his group, he called her Rieu's Angel. She later became Australia's Angel, which was a great fit for her beautiful voice and interesting background. The marketing plan paid close attention to how Mirusia looked. When she performed with Rieu, she always wore long dresses that flowed beautifully. This style of art, and the way the camera caught her face as it changed when she was feeling sad or happy, made a full package that people all over the world wanted to see. These accomplishments show that Rieu can show off Mirusia's skills by choosing the right songs, making them look good, and putting them out on multiple platforms. Because of this, there is a worldwide movement that goes beyond classical music.